Welcome back to the lab again. It's me. You know who it is. No introductions needed. Or at least that's what I'm going to tell myself. This is my first recording in the PM. So of course I still need a caffeinated beverage. This will be Pentatonic Pathways Part 5, which comes after 4, but before 6. Don't worry though, there will not be a Pentatonic Pathways Part 6. So, we are still in the key of G. We've been going through the positions, going up the neck, looking at the triads and sort of chord shapes that fit into those pentatonic positions and breaking them down into those shapes that are a bit more manageable, a bit more melodic. So this will be sort of lucky last for the moment. So to recap some things that we know, position 1, just on the low E, was the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. Position 2 was the 5th fret to the 7th fret. The 3rd position was the 7th fret to the 10th fret. And then the 4th position was the 10th fret to the 12th fret. Now the 5th position will be the 12th fret to the 15th fret, which is just that 15th fret of the low E is just our G again. So, cool. We've kind of made our way back home, because if we start there on that 15th fret, go on a whole octave. So then, I'll show you this position, look at some of the shapes in there, I'll show you some licks, and then there's some stuff I want to discuss here at the end of this one. So, this position is going to look really familiar to a lot of people, especially if you've been online for a while working on some of your guitar playing. Alright, position 5. Take a look at it. 12-15 on the low E. What a surprise. 12-14 on the A string. Followed by 12-14 on the D string, 12-14 on the G string, 12-15 on the B string, 12-15 on the high E. Awesome, so that's the scale position that we're going to be dealing with here. Let's look at some of the shapes that we're going to worry about. I'll show you the 3 that we will concern ourselves here. Okay. So the first one is just going to use the bottom 3 strings. We have 15 on the low E, 14 on the A, and 12 on the D. The next shape focuses on the A, D, and G strings. It has the 14th fret of the A string, the 12th of the D, and the 12th of the G. Just barring across there with your index finger. So far. The next one is actually a shape that we've used before, but we can approach it a different way when we're in this position. Barred across the D, G and B strings, just 12, 12, 12. All three of those shapes there. So we'll have a lick for each of these. Alright, so on that first one that utilises the bottom 3 strings, this is going to be the position or sort of shape that I'm going to be thinking about when I'm trying to enter this box. So here's the lick. I slide up to the 15th fret of the low E. I skip the A string and grab 14 on the D string. And I slide it back to 12 on the D. And then I grab 14 on the A. Slide up to 15 on the low E, skip the A, 14 on the D, slide down to the 12, 14 on the A. There we go, that's that first lick. The second lick is out of that second shape that we learned. So we're going to play that shape straight to begin this lick. And I like to not hold the shape statically when I play licks like this, or else it kind of makes me feel like my hand is stuck and I don't get the, or I don't feel like I had the luxury of movement. Maybe I just have stiff hands, who knows. But anyway, so grab that 14 on the A string, then we're going to do that little bar across the D and G on the 12th fret, and pick both of those. When we get to the 12 of the G string, I want you to do a hammer onto 14 and pull off back to 12. Now if that hammer on pull off, grab 14 on the D and then 12 on the G. So play through that shape, 14 on the A, 12 on the D, 12 on the G, hammer onto 14, pull off, 14 on the D, and then 12 on the G. Awesome, so there's our 2 licks there. So this next one, using sort of the A shape of that G chord across the 12th fret of the D, G and B strings, this one's going to be like an ascending pull-off thing. That might sound really fancy, but it's going to be really simple. So the first note I actually want you to start on is the 15th fret of the B string. You're going to strike it and pull off to the 12 of the B. It's that first move there. Then grab 14 on the G, and once you've plucked and grabbed that, pull off to 12 as well. So strike 15, pull off 12, 14 on the G, pull off 12, 14 on the D, pull off 12. So you can see how we're outlining that one there. So just from the top there, strike 15 on the B, pull off 12, strike 14 on the G, pull off 12, strike 14 on the D, pull off 12. So there's the 3 shapes and the 3 licks. Now normally at this point I would sort of talk about how there's a lick that you could pull to connect all those, and we can look at that at some point. But at this sort of final point of going over the one chord of G, which is of course a lovely G major, which might be a little out of tune there. I want to point something out for you when you're going to practice these from here on out. And that is someone who's a bit more eagle-eyed or someone who's had a bit more experience playing. A lot of these positions would seem really familiar to you if you've looked at your E minor pentatonic. And that's because G major and E minor are relative major and minors. So they share the same notes. It's just the intervals and the way that they're stacked and stuff like that. It's in a different order. Same notes but in a different order, different starting point and different finishing point. I might be explaining that wrong, but that's how I understand it. So basically, if you're going to go online and you want to load up like just a really simple like ballad, E minor ballad, like a country or blues thing, you can practice all these licks in G as well. If you want to load one up in G, you can practice them as well, and you'll get a different feel for both. But it's just that I want you to use those shapes to navigate rather than playing those boxes up and down and thinking, man, how do I get from here to here? You can see how those shapes work with each other to get you from here to here. So that's super important. So for now, no big connecting lick. I just want you to keep in mind that everything that you've learned here can also be used in E minor. Grab some backing tracks, give that a go, and I'll catch you next time because we're going to start breaking down the second chord in G major. Thanks for coming.
Do you want to show them the menace causing